way of looking about life. Remember that all fire and air signs are the masculine energy, which is outward, um, physical freedom, excitement, fun, factor, and then negative signs, which are feminine signs, which include the water and earth signs, which are more inward and kind of into your soul kind of thing. So, talking about sun, moon, and other planets. So, bonding, that's what that is. Complementing is, if you think about cheese and grapes and cheese, I wonder if all you had that for a snack one time. Maybe, I don't know if you had like cheddar cheese with apple pie, because I was watching a movie. It's called Pilot's Passage, and one of the things I remember was that the old pilot sailor was sitting in the little inn having brandy, rum, apple pie, and cheese. That think of that example when you're thinking about complementing. In astrology, complementing is strictly has to do with one sign bonding with its opposite sign. They are very, very different, allowing some growth and evolution and to learn things from one another, but there's something about them that is so different, but also similar, that just goes together and makes a really, really good combination where something balances with the other thing. And one of the things that we're going to talk about this Libra season is the word balance. And equality of certain things. So that's the biggest thing for Libra. And we're going to talk about, Deborah Silverman's going to talk about Libra as well, since she has Libra rising. And I can see that you've arrived. And she's going to be talking about high roads and low roads of certain signs. About the Aquarian version of Libra, the Piscean version, and really gonna help us delve deep into it. So complementing, it would be my sun, moon. I happen to have Sagittarius rising. Sun in Aries, moon in Libra. Another complementing would be, and my grandma has the Sun, Pisces, moon in Virgo. So those are what complements, where one can learn from the other what one zodiac sign lacks. So Pisces needs to have someone to ground and needing to think very, very critically and analytically and practically about things, and having structure and lists, and being focused on the real matters of health, organization, and serving, giving, helping. And Virgo can kind of get stuck a little bit, and it needs that emotional, dreamy, sort of side. So the combination between those two, well, obviously it's the grounded dreamer, I guess you would say. So I would say Aries and Libra, since Deborah's going to be talking about the full moon of Aries and Libra, and the new moon of Aries and Libra and Libra, and also tying it into real life and history and all that kind of thing, maybe going out of her book a little bit. and certain really, really famous people and their natal charts as well. So, certainly if someone in your family has a birthday, then you can go on astro.com, find their chart, and come and present it, and we'll go through it together. So, Aries Libra polarity, I would say, and new moon is when two of the same signs are together. The sun and the moon are in the same signs, and it's a dark sky. Any time that there was a full moon, the sign that the sun is in, the sign that the moon is in are complementary. They're opposite. So Aries and Libra, I would say, as the fighter for peace. The fighter for peace. Taking that Aries energy and that intuition and ambition and putting it with that Libra, beauty, harmony, all that kind of thing. So then we have a countering relationship, and I'm going to use an example of a countering relationship from my real life. So, Aries and Capricorn. This is a very good example of a countering relationship. All of these have positives. Both of these have their negatives. And those negatives and positives, they can both learn from each other, and they can both grow and become more evolved and better. So while Aries can be more, grounded and, having really, really high-powered commitment, and, really working hard to achieve whatever ambitious goals that Aries has, and being materialistic. Capricorn, since it, the low road of Capricorn is being the workaholic that's cold, that is pessimistic, negative, overly controlling, not enough, looking at the, the lighter, funner, more positive, optimistic side of life. So let me tell you that, all of the different, elements represent different things. When it comes to Earth, however, it feels like that, overrides the other three. But here's the thing. It is not just practical only to be practical, and too much of one good thing is too much of one thing is a bad thing. I'm sure that you heard those types of things. My grandpa does have kind of an unbalanced chart, and his missing element is air and also water. Very, very masculine. Very, very earthbound. A lot of Taurus and Virgo in the chart. So, definitely. So, it isn't just practical just to be practical. All the different elements and signs are practical in some way, and you need all of the different elements to balance. You need all four wheels of the car to be blown up and running. And, not every, nobody's perfect. We were not born with a balanced chart with all the planets and the, signs and all the signs. And, if that was possible, then there wouldn't be a whole lot of variety. So, nobody's perfect, and all perfections are all imperfections are our perfections. And I think that you could definitely benefit from that. Don't you think? Yeah. Because if everybody was the same, then it it just wouldn't be the same. All of these different types of unique, quirky personalities and interests and things you know make it interesting. It's important that everyone's individual and that we do have that variety. So, Aries and Capricorn, I already talked about it. Certainly could make Capricorn more assertive. So, I've talked about the different types of relationships. Now I want to talk to you about the natal chart and how it's going to look. So this is the natal chart right here. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. One moment. Okay. So, this is the chart. You can see that I have listed all of the planets and all of the signs out here. Okay, and I'm not gonna go over this whole thing today. I'm not going to go over this whole thing today. I will do it bit by bit as we go. So what's going to happen is I might, do a trivial over whose birthday it is. Deborah Silverman might come and talk about, her birthday and, have a take on, the horoscope. Then we might get into little tidbits about the three categories, one of the areas that we're focused on. I might talk about the sun and moon and also, other planets from the chart. So that's really how it is going to work. And at the very, very end, if anyone has a birthday, then you're going to come up here and only if you want to. You don't have to, but I highly recommend, because that is one of the things that we're going to be doing, talking about and analyzing the natal chart, at the very, very end. So that's how it's going to work. And it's not going to be every day, because, a lot of you are not born, days in a row. So, now let's move to the natal chart. So, the sun entered Libra yesterday. Moon entered Sagittarius. Sun rules Leo, the lion. Moon rules Cancer, the cookie crab. So, the sun represents your basic personality, the sign that you were born under, obviously. Your ego, your appearance, I want to say, exuberance, what, all the other planets reflect around, because, based off of the scientific revolution, now we know that all of the planets revolve around the sun and not Earth. So, so the sun is in Libra. Sun in Libra, represented by the scales, balance. It is all about beauty, peace, harmony, equality, balance, social justice, and relationship. So I'm going to talk about Libra's ruling planet, which is Venus. And I'm going to erase that little line that I drew here. So, Venus. That is the planet of love, the planet of relationship, the planet of affection, beauty, friendship, art. It is what you value and care about most. Mine is Gemini. So, Venus is, Venus rules Libra. It also rules Taurus as well. So, the sun in Libra, moon, which represents Cancer, which is the cookie crab, very emotional, very sensitive sign, wanting to go inward, home, family, It's kind of just the gist. Your moon represents your emotions. It represents your internal, which can affect your sun greatly. Particularly if it is in the sign of Leo. Okay. Yeah, one of the stronger signs. So, but generally all the signs. So, the moon is in Sagittarius, which its symbol is the archer. Remember that Sag is a mutable fire sign. The centaur, all about travel, adventure, freedom, excitement, good fortune, very, very happy-go-lucky, kind of just super optimistic and, positive and philosophical about life. So that all of the themes of Sagittarius show up in Jupiter, and I believe that it used to be ruled by Pisces. So, Libra rules the aesthetic. Any type of, art through maybe books or maybe, ballet or dancing. Art, obviously, fashion. They have a really good sense of fashion for how things coordinate color-wise. And Sagittarius, Libra is an air sign, and that Sagittarian is a fire sign. It is a fire sign. Okay, just a second. I need to shut the door. So, there's another little piece of information. I don't know if I came up with it or if it's just fact. It just makes sense. That while all the different signs share an element, Libra is an air sign, for example, since we're talking about Libra. However, and this may be easier to see and make sense of for certain signs, and maybe not for Leo and Aquarius. That they all have their elements, but there's another element, one or two other elements that combine with that sign's original element that, influence that zodiac sign in particular. So while Libra is an air sign, I would consider Libra to be practical, logically. Just because the earth signs are practical doesn't mean not all of them are practical. And it's not just your sun sign, it's the other planets. But just talking about the sun sign, Libra is very logistical and kind of a grounded air energy, appreciates kind of the same similar things that Taurus does, and it's also rules love, and think of Aphrodite when you think of Libra, which is probably what it originated from. Yeah. So not only earth but water as well, and it can get along with earth and water signs very greatly. So put a Libra and a Taurus together, and that is a really, really great relationship because they're both ruled by Venus, and they share a lot of the same similarities of art. And a Libra Capricorn, obviously, one's not too different, but it's still countering. So Libra is the water earth to the air. Water earth to the air. And Aquarius is its own air, and it's super complicated. I was going back and forth. So Aquarius is, I'd say, air to the air. If you think about Virgo, that's air to the air. So, Sun in Libra, Moon in Sag, wanting to make friends and go places, go to very, very fashionable places and live a very, very graceful life, with that fiery optimism and ambition, and wanting to travel and explore, and very, very talkative and very happy-go-lucky, fun-loving, wanting to learn, because Libra was all about speaking, communicating. When it comes to reading new things, with that Sagittarian, need for freedom and physical adventure and travel. So it is a very, really good and fun, light-hearted combination. Okay, and to go along with that, one little thing before we're done for today with this in particular is Mercury in Libra. Mercury in Libra. So, Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. It's so interesting because exact opposite that is Jupiter, Sagittarius, and Pisces. And I think that Pisces used to be ruled by Jupiter. Mars used to be ruled by Scorpio and Aries. It's still ruled by Aries. Directly opposite that is Venus, which is ruled by Taurus and Libra. You see, how those, how this go together. So communication, talking, your wit, your intellect. That's what Mercury is. In Libra, and also another thing I didn't talk about with Libra is that it's kind of an indecisive sign. It's a little indecisive on the negatives. When you think about Libra, there isn't too much bad qualities, but I'd say that the indecisiveness may be a little irritating at some times. I can, relate to it, but, I don't want to put too much emphasis on it. So Mercury in Libra is someone who, Libra is the beautifier and the charmer. Librans, and Libra, males have a charming voice, charming look, one that defies gravity. I don't know. One that, speaks with trying to, do all the Libran themes, very beautiful, like trying to balance harmony, all of those things. So that's generally what it is. I'm going to now actually have Deborah talk about this, Libra, Sag, Mercury, and anything else going off of what I said and any extra. Then, last but not least, Abby is going to talk about her natal chart, and we're going to be going over that since it is around her birthday. It was just yesterday. So, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very, very much, everybody out there. Okay? I will see you another time.